Bobby. Betsy.
No, you passed it. Yeah. No, you passed it.
Numbers are increasing, where there have been quite a few calves spun over the last few years. And the bottlenose dolphins of Cardigan Bay can grow to the largest in the world of its species here, where some of the males can reach up to near on 4 meters in length. All told, about 250 individual dolphins have been identified in the Cardigan Bay area, where each one can be identified via the dorsal fin, which acts as a thumbprint. So each one is individual with all its nicks, dents and scratches on it. And they are a protected species in the UK, where we do have a code of conduct to adhere to, where we're not allowed to go chase them at all. We do have to give them a certain amount of distance. And again, we have a time limit to stay in their presence. So keep an eye out, scan the water surface. If you think you've seen something, give a little shout out and we'll stop and have a look. So we hope you enjoy. And this film was out on general release about 7 years ago, called The Edge of Love, where you would have seen quite a bit of Newquay in it. Back, you can see why. And Dylan was to die a very young man at the age of 39, while out visiting in New York during 1953. About 50 meters away, and we've got 2. So now then, as part of the code of conduct, I did mention that we're unable to chase them or drive directly towards them. But we will get slightly closer, and I will turn the boat so that we have a better view. But keep an eye out now about the 10 to 11 o'clock direction. And they're only, oh there we are, we've got one coming up to the 9 o'clock direction between us and the pier. Between us and the rocks at the end of the pier now, the 2 of them, they're swimming roughly eastwards towards us.
Oh yeah.
And now these are an air-breathing, warm-blooded marine mammal that do give birth to the young calves. And the gestation period for a dolphin is 12 months. And they are carnivores, where they eat a selection of fish and also squid. And this time of year, we'll have a plentiful supply of bass, mullet, flounder, pollock and whiting. But then we have many tributaries that lead into Cardigan Bay. Therefore we have a lot of migrating salmon and also suin, or better known as sea trout, travelling up and down this coastline, and these are quite a delicacy for the dolphins. And roughly about 2 months ago, we started having the mackerel coming in. And these are shoaling fish, where the dolphins, they'll show the behaviour of where they work together in groups, about 6% of its body weight daily, to sustain itself. But a nursing mother will eat up to about 8%, as she has the calf to consider as well. And when they're busy foraging for food, they use a technique called echolocation, where basically the dolphin brain has the ability of sonar. Part of the brain, called the melon, emits thousands of clicks per second. And these sound waves under the water are rebounded by objects and prey, and helps the dolphin to go in for the kill. But the echolocation can also help with their orientation and navigation in the waters. And another ability of the dolphin brain is that it can split itself into 2. Half of the brain will go to sleep and rest, while the other half then must maintain the usual actions of the dolphins, such as swimming and also coming to the surface at regular intervals for air. Then once it's rested enough, it will swap over and let the other half rest. And they can hold their breath for up to 18 minutes and travel at a speed of 20 miles an hour, so they can cover a fair bit of distance in this time. And the female will breed every 2 to 3 years, disappear. And when the calf is born, it's born tail first. First thing the mother does is bring it up to the surface for its first breath of air. Over the next 10 hours then, it will learn how to swim and also come to the surface at regular intervals for air. Then over the next 2 to 3 weeks it will suckle off the mother until it's learned how to take 6 years before they leave the mother's presence completely to go adventuring on their own. And they can be very impressive animals where they can jump, or what we call breach, out of the water up to about 5 meters clean out. But they have different postures depending on what they're doing at the time. For example, if they're busy foraging for food, as they come out of the water and slump back down on the surface, this stuns the fish underneath, enabling the dolphin to go in for the kill. Other forms of postures then are just when they're having a bit of fun, or again during breeding season, which coincides with their calving season, which is from early June through to late November time. And an average age of a dolphin in the wild can range from 40 to 70 years of age. Northerly cardinal marker, and it works in conjunction with that orange sign that you can see on the beach behind us, Canina Point. Well, this is to basically indicate that there is a reef underneath us. And when it gets low waters, it can be very treacherous to the seafaring vessels. So obviously this cardinal marker tells everybody to keep north of this point. And many years ago, during 638 AD, St. Tina of Wessex, an old Saxon king, was travelling up this coastline and he was made shipwrecked. He was rescued by the locals and nursed back to health. In gratitude, he actually built a church on the reef itself. But over a number of years, it was demolished by the sea as the land regressed. But another 13 structures have stood in its place, where the current one now stands behind the orange sign within the trees. It was built during the 1800s, revamped in 1905, and now houses enough room. Oh, I just saw a big bass or a sewin being thrown out of the water just now by the two white boys together. So keep an eye out. It was a good fair size as well on the bass. I should have had my name on that one. But they throw the fish out obviously to soften the meat, and also they play with them, sometimes like a cat and mouse. But this building, Llanina Church itself, it now houses enough room for 80 worshippers, and is one of the smallest churches to be found in Wales, called Llanina, which means Ina's parish in Welsh. Later on in life then, St. Ina abdicated his crown. He made a pilgrimage with his wife Ethelberg to the Vatican in Rome, Italy, where he was later canonized and also sainted. Well, with the dolphins, we do have a time limit to stay in their presence, as I mentioned about the code of conduct that we have set up in the area. So we will now carry on with the rest of our trip.